I'm Amanda.
Hi, I'm Mike.
Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Kat. And
And
together,
together,
we make up Breck's Natural Resource Management Team. Today, we're at Breck's Forest Community Park, and we want to take you through the process of how we determine where a trail is and how to build a trail. So come on into the forest with us. So you might be wondering, how do we choose where to put a trail to begin with? And there's a few steps that we follow. Here at Forest Community Park, we wanted to make sure that we blend the community park aspect with the conservation area aspect, since we have this beautiful area behind us to work with. So when we're making a trail, we look at the unique features, such as this beautiful little stream, what we want to bring people to, and then we determine how to incorporate that into the accessibility in the rest of the park. So the section that we're in right now is a large tract of conservation area in the back of the park, and we are trying to make a connection over by the fishing pond. So this was a historic trail that existed for quite some years, and we are making the connection and just tying the 2 points together. So the trail that we're working on today is what we call a spur trail. And as you can see, the red trail is going to be a one-way, a multi-directional trail that ties in to other trails throughout the park, which is why we call it a spur. So we will be working along this area and then cutting in so that it has an access point over by our fishing pond.
When we're building our trails, the terrain and the landscape defines how we make those trails. So we avoid certain trees, certain spots, wet areas, and so forth. So for example here, as you can see, it's a nice corridor that we chose that goes right alongside this fallen tree on this side. And over here we have this nice big cherry bark oak that you can see as you walk down the path. Looking this way, or looking this way as well, you can see how we cut down some of our trees to make our path. But the trees we're cutting down are non-native invasive species, such as this ligustrum, that we don't mind cutting down to make our trail. So when planning our trails, we try and route our trails around the native species. As you can see here, we have the southern magnolia that we did our trail around. Down the path here, we have a hornbeam, American hornbeam, that we kept on the trail. And then to our left here, we have some witch hazel that we kept on the trail.
Today we're clearing some trail, and I like to talk about cutting on plants in general. This is a privet. This is one of our invasive species that we want to remove. But when you want to cut things and remove them from your area, you want to do it efficiently and as close to the ground as possible. This privet is something we want to completely remove. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my loppers and at a level angle, I'm going to cut it flush with the ground, and then we remove. Other times, in other situations, we have things like this elm tree that we want to preserve, but we don't want to completely remove, and we want it to remain healthy. So one of the ways we do this is we kind of do selective pruning. And to do selective pruning, I can remove this branch. In order to not leave a branch that's going to grow back and create a problem for the tree, what I have to do is cut it flush with the side. That way this could potentially heal up or maybe create a new branch, but this is going to remove this, keep it out of the way, and also keep this native species healthy. So one of the other important things that we do is corridor work, and sometimes we're encountering native species like this ironwood here, and it's important to us that we maintain this tree, but we also want to clear our path. And one of those things we do is to do that is selective pruning. Now I want to remove this branch. I could just snip him off here and he would brush out, but if I want to remove this branch altogether, I'm going to cut it as flush as I can with this tree. And that way we've kind of created our nice corridor and I haven't damaged my tree. This wound should heal and grow over and shouldn't sprout a new branch. If you break a branch at the wrong point, you'll get this kind of a mess. And it'll start to re-sprout and start to grow into your trail, and it creates a lot more mess. So I'm actually going to correct that and try and cut this flush so that my tree can heal itself appropriately and we'll get our trail cleared as well.
So in order to keep all of our trails clear after we've cut them, we take all of the brush and create little brush piles on the edge of the forest so they can stay as discreet as possible. We want to keep the park around us looking good. Don't want to have any stray leaves or branches flying all over the sidewalks. So we keep it here. It'll break down the forest, make new soil, that beautiful circle of life. Also, in addition to cleaning up, as you can see, there's a lot of twigs, a lot of leaves, a lot of poison ivy on the ground. So what we'll do after is take a weed eater and clear all this up so it'll be a really clear dirt path so you'll know exactly where to go, and we will maintain this over the years and keep weed eating and picking up trash so it'll stay a beautiful place for everyone to come walk.
So, when all of that hard work is finished, we end up with a beautiful trail like this. This is what we refer to as a primitive hiking trail, so it's going to have limited amenities, but it will have trail markers up on the right-hand side along trees, and it will have trail pillars, which are wooden posts with arrows directing you where to go. The trail should be at least arm's width wide and should be tall enough so that your really tall 7-foot friend doesn't get clobbered on the head by any branches. We make sure that the surface is nice and swept away so that until the path gets nice and trodden like this one is, you can see where you're going. And hopefully we've created a trail that you can come out and enjoy a nice hike with your family.